Alright, now that we've completed the top and shoulder area, we've got this little section left to go. What I like to do is start at the top. One thing that you want to check out is when you are starting this area, kind of hold this bumper piece down to the side, and you'll notice that these holes don't line up very well at all. It might be a little hard to see from the video, but these two especially, they have less than half a hole open. So what I like to do is actually not hold this guy down when I'm installing it and just leave it up. And I'll show you why in a second. Like I said before, this side piece has one large hole, which is down here, and one tighter hole, which is up here. The enlarged hole goes at the bottom side of the frame. And again, this is for the cross tie off. So what we're going to do is make sure we have the right side, which is the tighter side up top, and then thread them into the bumper guard here. Also again noticing that I'm leaving this bumper piece up. So the reason I do this is, like I said, when I hold this piece down, the holes don't line up very well. But when you let it sit up like this, you can actually guide the grommets again into the holes, and you're not impeded by the bumper guard. So the worst practice to do is to try and hold this down and force them in. They're not going to go in. So now that we know that, we're just going to start up here like before. These two guys right here are not allowing this guy to sit properly, so I'm going to move down. Just make sure they drop into the bumper like so. And I'll continue. I like to loosely get all of them in so I don't have to hold the whole thing down all the time. And many times you'll notice that these right here, since they're at a very straight part of the racket, are just going to fall right into the holes. So now that we've got them loosely placed in, I'm going to come back up here, and all 4 or 5 of these right here haven't made it through, so I'm going to come back. And I always double check up here to make sure that the flap from the top is underneath this piece, or else you're going to have kind of like a loose flap right here, and that's ugly. So coming through here, just make sure all my grommets are coming through. And again, I'm going to point out that when you're installing these yourself, look down here and make sure they're coming through visually. It's going to make life a lot easier. And so you'll notice when they line up properly, all you have to do is kind of push them in with your fingers, and most of them are going to come through. Like I said, the toughest part's up here, everything else is a little bit easier. And when you have a grommet that's not coming through, again, visual look, wiggle it in, and voila, one side's done. Other side again, find the correct piece, let it come through the bumper guard, plastic bumper guard here, and then check your flap, and then loosely wiggle these top pieces in. Just make sure they're entering the frame, and then kind of get all these guys loosely entered into the frame. These guys here have an angle, so you're going to rock them in without too much pressure. And then I like to get these side guys in because they're straight through. Move back up to the top. Do a visual check here. Wiggle these stubborn ones in. And when you see the top ones click in, just squeeze these guys in, and then do the 4 or 5 tough ones at the bottom. Visual check. All of the grommets are in the frame now, as you can see. And a lot of the times you'll notice that they don't seat very well. And because of this, you do an extra check with your thumb, just make sure that the pressure is good. And what a lot of people do when they restring the frame with a new bumper guard is that they'll typically up the tension maybe by 1 or 2 pounds, just because they know that the grommets are going to settle down a little bit. But besides that, there you have it. New bumper guard is installed.